readers,
reviewers,
countrymen,
lend us your ears. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreons.
Thank you to the Pit Fighters, the First Swords, and all of the Bright Stars, Truth and Courage. Hello, welcome today to the Brothers Gwyn channel, where myself, Ed, and my brother Will are going to be talking about more fantasy books that we want to read. Everyone needs a bit more fantasy. We love fantasy on the channel. Our father is a fantasy author, so if we didn't like fantasy, then we would never have been allowed any hot dinners. Good job we do like it, and yeah, we've been brainwashed into loving fantasy, and we're going to give you a list of 5 books each that we would love to read by the end of the year that are, guess what, fantasy.
No way.
Will, please, don't kick us off, because that would hurt, but begin.
First up, I have Wrath by Papa John Gwyn, which I'm going to be listening to.
Again, he's admitting he's never read it before. So, unlucky Will, I'm now the favourite.
When we did a list of how many characters do we know from Faith from the Fallen,
It was
who wrote
3
more?
minutes before my English A-level exam, and my head was in the wrong place.
You made characters up.
No, actually, I wrote them down that Dada wrote before you could read.
You said Nathair's Drake.
Yeah, that's a character.
Okay.
Anyway, spoiler, you've ruined it for people now that don't know that Nathair has a Drake. So, congratulations, William. Carry on with the video. I can't believe you've done that. It's not a spoiler, don't worry.
Anyway, Wrath.
It is a spoiler.
First time I listened to the audiobook by Damien Lynch. I've loved listening to these so far. And yeah, I imagine most of you read Wrath, and I'll be joining the bandwagon for an audiobook soon, apparently.
The first book on my fantasy TBR is Cold West by Clayton Snyder, which is a self-published fantasy book, which is now an SBFBO number 9 finalist. SBFBO is the famous Mark Lawrence, the author's creation of having self-published fantasy books all kind of put forward and read by reviewers and read by judges, and then there is a final, and then the book with the highest score wins, basically. And Cold West is meant to be a Western fantasy, essentially imagining if Clint Eastwood had just lost his wife and he has his children to think about, but he's also an ex-bounty hunter. So, I mean, Clint Eastwood's not actually in it. The main character isn't called Clint Eastwood. That would be cool. I think the main character is called Will Cutter, which is also a great name. What are the Cutters are from? Cutter. Peter McLean series called Cutters, aren't they? Some people. Just people. There are some Cutters.
Just people.
But don't run into slicers. That would hurt.
That would hurt.
Anyway, yeah, I'm really excited to reading that. Western is kind of in my DNA, really. I love cowboy books, and I love books set in the Wild West, as it were, the American West as well. And a fantasy book with that setting inspired. Oh, is it a little bit like Red Country? Count me in.
Boom.
Over to you.
Next up, I have Wives of Kings and Prophets by Sean Lawless. This is historical fantasy, so I put it in the fantastical part because it has fantastical elements, which means it's not dead on history.
Yeah.
And so, because we will be doing a video talking about historical fiction books that we're aiming to read by the end of the year. And so, yeah, I thought I'd put it in this one. This is book 2 of Jail Song. I'm not very good at pronunciations, apologies, but book 2 of the series. The sequel to The Children of Gods and Fighting Men, which we reviewed and adored and loved and raved about for the past year, haven't we? And so this is book 2. I am very upset I've not managed to read this so fast because I've had so much reading for uni. Why do they try and fill your time out of reading when you're doing English and history?
Why are you complaining about it?
See, now you've made it seem like I'm actually complaining. Yeah. I was joking. The Words of Kings and Prophets by Sean Lawless. Cannot wait to read it. You'll be reading it hopefully in November.
I shall be.
I'll hopefully be reading it in December. And then hopefully we'll be talking about it on the channel. I'm raving about it as much as we did about The Children of Gods and Fighting Men.
It does sound like us, actually. That does
it does sound like us.
The next book for me is a Robin Hobb book. Yeah, you're right. But it's called Shaman's Crossing. Have you heard of that?
I have.
You have. So it is a fantasy book that was recommended to me on our Discord. Just checking.
How many Robin Hobb books have you read?
Have you read Life Ship yet? Oh.
How many have I read?
I don't know. There you go. The next one for me is called Shaman's Crossing. Anyway.
Oh, he doesn't even remember the name.
And it is a fantasy that's inspired by the American West. And from what I've read on Goodreads is that it is inspired by colonial America. And yeah, I've seen some fantastic reviews about it. I know I've seen negative reviews saying that it's slow and that Robin Hobb takes her time with characters. What a surprise. But that shouldn't come as a shock to anyone who enjoys reading Robin Hobb. I will be reading Realm of the Elderlings and all the Fitz stuff and all the other Fitz things that aren't about Fitz at some point in the future, but I think Shameless Crossing is a book that I feel calling to me and something that I should read, and then I could tell William that I've read a Robin Hobb book that he hasn't read yet. So
I'm glad
that's my main motivation.
I'm
really.
glad that motivates your reading. I'm pushing you to cross boundaries.
You wouldn't push me. Okay.
It's good. I'm very proud that I'm responsible for getting you to read.
I think you should
books.
read Live Ship really instead of
That'd probably be a good idea.
Fine.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Next up, I have The Return to Adan by Philip Chase, book 3 of his series. We've read Way of Adan and The Prophet of Adan. Absolutely love them both. Way of Adan, awesome. The Prophet of Adan, even more awesome. Hopefully it follows that trend.
Awesomer.
And
it was the
with,
awesomest.
And hopefully this ends with we love a big battle, don't we? And I think Philip is going to give us what the masses want, really. And I've heard great things about The Return to Adan. And it's another one that I wish I've read already, and I really should have, but other reading kind of deadlines have determined that I cannot yet, and I want to give it proper attention. And read it, savour it, and take it slowly. And so hopefully I'll be doing that over the Christmas break. And that is The Return
something
to Adan.
be read when you're not worrying about everything else.
Exactly.
And I'm sure we'll be reading it around the same time probably, and we'll do again a review of it, and we'll be gushing and loving, and
It's true.
All sorts. The next one for me is going to be Michael R. Fletcher's last book of the trilogy of the book 1 is Beyond Redemption. I haven't read book 2 yet, so I'm hoping to read book 2, but then book 3 is called A War to End All. So I'll be reading basically both of them. They count as one essentially, don't they? It's the same series. And
Wait a second. You've not read book 2?
No, but I'm going to read book 2 first and then book 3, but I just wanted to talk about both of them together because book 3 is a new release that I don't know if too many people know is actually out there. So
wow.
Hopefully
when did it come out?
Spread the news. September. Share the load, doesn't it? Yeah. So it came out in September. Book 3, Beyond Redemption, is a fantasy book that is very, very grimdark. It has a band of it's three characters, isn't it? That all hate each other. Imagine the Greatcoats. But the opposite, but different, basically.
But do they hate each other?
They're the same, but
the line between love and hate is very close.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, they hate each other. I really loved Beyond Redemption. I thought it had this fantastic tone of almost kind of British humour, really. This sarcasm, this dark, quippy, witty humour that mix it then with this grimdark world, these characters' motivations being completely dastardly, and then by the end of book 1, I was rooting for them. I won't lie. So I cannot wait to read book 2 and 3. Counts as one. I'm Gimli. You should put that GIF up there because that'd be cool. Carry on.
Dastardly, good word. I like
you.
that word. It's like capitulate. It's a word that I'm really liking lately.
What's the longest word you know?
I don't know.
You can't say supercalifragilistic.
I did try and learn the name of the Welsh town, which is like 70.
That's very disrespectful. Thank you.
Next up, I have Salmon, book 2, volume 4 and 5, I believe. I've read the first 3 contained in, guess what, book 1.
Still only counts
loved
as one.
it. And so this will be taking up. I haven't actually heard when season 2 of Sandman will be out. I think it will be next year. I think it's almost a year since it actually came out originally. Wow. It must have been, so it'll be out next year. And so this will deal with what that season will be taking up. Yeah. And I absolutely loved book 1, which I'm pointing up there, not randomly, but because it's on my shelf over up there. And I loved that. It was very similar to the series, which shows that it was a very honest adaptation, but also quite different as well, and somehow even more creative. I love just seeing Neil Gaiman's genius and imagination let loose across this sprawl of pages. And I'm sure I'll come across many more weird and wondrous and monstrous things to come. And so that's Sandman book 2.
Cool. The next one for me.
Why did you do a maniacal laugh?
Oh, just let loose. Anna Smith Spark writing another fantasy book about a mother. Count me in. So this is A Sword of Bronze and Ashes, and I'm excited to read this. Anna sent me this herself, so thank you so much, Anna. I absolutely adored A Woman of the Sword, one of my favourite fantasy reads I've ever read. Anna Smith Spark has a unique writing voice. I love the way that she pinpoints her characters' beats in ways that no author would even dream of. She has a completely unique mind and a completely unique set of skills, really, in terms of character development and forcing these characters to go through scenarios that are horrific to read, but you also just can't take your eyes from it. Now, A Sword of Bronze and Ashes is about a mother running away from a war, but she has her daughters to think of, and her daughters want to stand with her and fight. And it's just, again, about a mother's relationship with her children. As a recent father, I'm really excited to read about this style of storytelling. I'm currently writing a book about a father and his daughter, so I love seeing how Anna Smith Spark writes parents, and again, even more excitement. So thank you.
Well, that will change your kind of dynamic reading or writing, won't it?
Oh, it's added a whole new layer.
Very nice. I think I've gone through
Shrek,
like ogres.
Yeah.
3, 4, final one. Iron Gold by Pierce Brown, book 4 of his Red Rising saga. So book 1 beyond the original trilogy. I know Ed didn't click with it as much. He's very good at hiding his emotions, but I think we should just be honest, Ed. Definitely hiding it very well. And
I have a subtle face.
You do, really. And so Iron Gold, hopefully I feel different to Ed. Many people have. I think I hear a lot of people don't click with Iron Gold, but then they do with Dark Age. So Dark Age maybe.
I would say don't listen to it. I know.
I want.
I know, but you shouldn't, because
I want to.
They're not good narrators.
Is it not the same?
No,
is he not? He's one of them,
he's
isn't
in
he?
it for a little bit.
Well, it's because he should not be named maybe a character, but he may not be.
Don't worry. But anyway, don't listen to it. Physically read it.
Noted. So that is now that's got rid of all the excitement. Ed, what's your final?
Sorry, the last one for me is The Deloriad by Missouri
What did you call me?
Williams. The Deloriad, it's a book, a fantasy, apocalyptic, sci-fi fiction book. But I'm saying it's fantasy.
Let's see the cover.
It's a person.
Oh, okay.
Don't be, come on.
No, I only saw it from the side.
Don't discriminate, but
No,
it's
I
about a
just saw the
family
eye.
that have survived through incest during apocalypse. Don't discriminate. But it's about basically there's essentially been some sort of cataclysm, and the oh no,
He's right. Ed,
laughing.
5 seconds. Ed sounds like the penguin sometimes from Toy Story.
So anyway, it's not actually funny. I'm being really immature. It's just good to be back with Will. We're back to our laughing.
No, Ed.
It is.
Do not
It is
distract.
your
You are
fault.
not laughing.
If I was
because we're
doing
back
this video
together.
on my own,
okay.
I wouldn't laugh. This is really. If I was doing it on my own,
Okay, ready?
it wouldn't be funny. A family has survived through this apocalypse, and the leader of the family is the mother, called the matriarch. But she meets another group of survivors, and she gives her daughter over as kind of a marriage to ally herself to this other surviving family. And then it is about that story. So I'm excited to read it. I've heard some great things about the Deloriad. Some people have really slated it. Other people have said it's a work of genius. So I'm looking forward to seeing what side of the fence I stand on.
It
I
doesn't
did
sound,
it.
it
You're the
doesn't
one
sound very
laughing now.
funny.
It
That's
doesn't
all I'm
sound
going to
funny,
say.
no.
It does not sound
But,
funny.
hey, not the books are funny, Will.
But anyway, there are
Come on.
10 fantasy books that we aim to read by the end of the year. 5 each amalgamates to that lovely number 10. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what fantasy books you want to read by the end of the year. Let me know if you're excited to hear any of our thoughts on any of the books that we talked about today. And everyone, as always, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Thank
Truth
you.
and Courage, the Brothers Gwyn.
Truth and Courage from the Brothers Gwyn.